So, recently I decided to give my coffee machine a bit of a makeover. I have a really nice coffee machine, but making coffee takes a long time. I want to make a coffee machine out of an Ironman helmet. The idea is to have it fully automated, that the mask's opened, you put your cup in and it pours your fresh cup of coffee. I use a capsule machine for that, and I want it to look as close to a real Ironman helmet as possible. In order to do that, of course, I need a golden mask. So I tried spray painting, I tried gold plating it with gold leaves, but as you can see, the results were not as good as I hoped. Turns out, gold plating with a leaf takes a lot of skill.
Really?
Yeah, but then I thought, why don't I use real gold? So let's head on my favorite 3D printing website. Yeah, turns out printing in real gold is pretty expensive. But because I wanted to use real gold for this purpose, I had to think of something. Because with real gold, everything is better. Right? I am going to explain you how electroplating works, how you can use it on plastic parts, what exact equipment you need, and how you can do it at home for less than $300. In order to electroplate plastics, we have to understand first how electroplating actually works. So let me show you that. Electroplating is easy, and it isn't. There is a lot of details you have to know. So I did some research. Basically, I got an electroplating manual. In here you find everything on voltages and how to use the different solutions. So the first thing we need obviously is an electroplating machine. But because an electroplating machine is basically nothing else than a power supply and a pen, I looked online. The price ranges were pretty steep, from $200 to over $3,000. So I tried out a few different options and I came across this really cool set. If you want to follow along this tutorial or want to try electroplating yourself, you'll find the link to it in the description down below.
Wow, you are a real beauty.
I decided to use a brush-on kit for two reasons. First of all, my parts are printed in PA12 using laser sintering technology. So these parts will soak up a lot of water if you have to submerge them in anything.
So, if I can't get you to come to the bath, I'll just have to bring the bath to you.
The second reason is that you need a lot of gold solution to submerge a part in it. So that way, I save a lot of money. This kit comes basically with everything you need. You got this power supply, you got your pen, you got your electrodes, and you get different kinds of solutions to prepare your part for gold plating and gold plate it. With this kit you get two electrodes. One of them is the graphite, you can use that for gold plating, and the other one is the copper one. You can use that for pre-coppering your part, which I will explain later. I would suggest you go ahead and get one of those. That's an electrode plated with platinum. It's way better to gold plate parts than the graphite one, because the graphite one could leave some residue on your part. The process is pretty easy. You just attach the negative side of your terminal to your part and use the positive side together with your solution to apply whatever you want to electroplate onto your part. And how to apply my gold, how to move, which voltage to use, etc, etc. So the only thing missing is something made out of metal, preferably big, an easy surface, like stainless steel, something like... Wait a second. Haha! Of course, YouTube guidelines. I decided to try it out on three different things. One is a ring made out of sterling silver. And here especially I want to show you how to partially plate something. The second thing is just an ordinary spoon, and the third thing is my house key. So let's prepare everything. Of course, we have to put in our new electrode. You just put it in, and there is a little spring down there, and you have to make sure you have contact. Because these electrodes are a little thinner than the electrodes that come with the set, you have to tighten a bit more. After that, let's start our power supply. Here you have the reading for the voltage, and here you have the reading for the amperes. The amperes is only for you to check if there is current flowing through your surface. So set the voltage down to about 3 volts. And now we're going to test if our electrode is connected to the terminal properly. If you touch your poles together,
Did you touch it?
the machine should click with the safety switch and should show you a little light right here where it's called CC. So to the plating process there are several steps. First of all is the preparation of your working space.
Sorry about the mess.
Second, there is the cleaning of your part.
That's what she said.
And third, of course, it is the plating process. So get one of your pads that was delivered with the kit and stick it onto the electrode. We have to make sure that it contacts the electrode well. I use a little wire for that. You could also use a rubber band. After attaching it to your electrode, of course, you have to make sure that you get contact between your two poles. The easiest way to do that is using some distilled water to wet your pad. Press it out thoroughly so it is wet, but not soaked to the full, because of course you want your pad to accept the solution. Never use tap water to wet your pad or clean your part. Tap water contains minerals and metals that will add to your solution and will get dragged down to the surface, and it will totally mess up your results. After you wet your pad, you will see that you have no contact anymore, because distilled water is a very bad conductor. So the wetting of the pad is only there to make it easier for your solution to get all the way through, so you don't have to use that much. First step is always to clean your part using Electrocleaner. I would suggest doing it all the time. It will remove the oxide layers from the surface. Even on stainless steel, there is an oxide layer on top that will mess up your results. So open your cleaning solution and, of course, wear gloves. Wet your pad with the solution. In order to electroclean, we have to put our system on 5 volts. Attach your negative terminal to the part you want to plate. Start cleaning your part. As you can see right there, if I contact the part, you can see some current flowing. You see that by the ampere going up. If you see your ampere doing nothing in this process or this step, it isn't that bad. So clean it thoroughly from every direction you can reach. Change the position of your negative pole and keep cleaning. Especially on stainless steel, it is very important to do this step, because stainless steel has a very hard to remove oxide layer, so the Electrocleaner will definitely help. There are a few metals out there where you can plate directly, for example stainless steel, silver and some mild steel. Other materials you might have to plate with copper first, but I will show you that process when we move on to the plastic parts. After you're finished with the Electrocleaner, just wash your part with distilled water again. Don't let your part touch anything, keep it in your hand, and it is a good idea to change out your gloves. So I changed my right glove in order to wash my part. I'm not touching it now, I will touch it after I washed it, so I'm sure I don't have any Electrocleaner on my hand. Now I'm changing my other one. After that, give it a good wash again. It is important that you use gloves that have no powder on it. I will link my glove down in the description below. After that we can move on to gold plating. Switch out your pad to the gold plating pad. This pad is now the Electrocleaner pad. Never use your pads for more than one job. The other important thing is to never let your pad dry. There could be crystals forming which will scratch your surfaces while cleaning or electroplating. If you want to wash your pad, always use distilled water for that. I like to store my pads within the liquid that it's used for. I just make sure that I leave a little bit outside, and so I can clamp it down with the threads itself. Set that aside. So the gold solution you get delivered together with your set is just flash gold. Flash gold means that it's there to basically do a quick surface of gold so you can plate other materials on top of it. It is a very weak and a very soft gold, so I wouldn't suggest you use it for your final part. Also, the color and saturation won't be satisfying. I tried using flash gold for this one, and as you can see, the color is not really gold, even though it has a smooth and shiny surface, and I have a lot of black spots on it. So the flash gold is just there to give your next surface something to adhere to. Also, this flash gold only contains about 8 grams of gold per liter. So I would suggest you buy one of those, the high-speed gold. I will leave a link down in the description. It has about 12 grams gold per liter, and it works way better. So if you're gold plating, of course your liquid is very precious, so you want to use as less as possible. So clean your dish and get something you could fill your gold solution into. The best thing would be if you have something that can keep air out and also keep your gold solution from evaporating. A good way I found are these glasses that have a rubber lip on top. One of these 100 milliliter bottles of gold solution will give you about 1 square meter of gold plated part. It depends a little bit on how thick you're adding it, but it is a good rough figure. Add your gold solution. And the best thing is if you have your wetted pads always in there. If you have left only a small amount, you can add water to get your pad wetter. Try to hurry up this part of the process because you don't want new oxides to form. A good gold solution you see out of the color, it should be deep purple. Because gold is such a valuable resource, of course we don't want to drip all over. So I'm trying to gold plate above my container. So we start out at roughly 4 volts and now we're just trying to get gold on it. We use a circular pattern and we use the same speed over the whole part to keep a consistent thickness. So let's try it. And always watch your ampere meter.
A few moments later.
We can start to see a little bit of color, but I don't think it really worked. So let's up the voltage a little bit. So we've gone to 4.5 volt. Let's try.
Later.
Better. The suggested voltage is about 5.5 volts. So let's go up there. Always put your amps all the way to the maximum. Keep your pad moist, so you always have enough gold on it.
2,000 years later.
You see the gold color is coming out pretty well. It is a bit slow though, so let's try some more volts. Avoid staying on the same spot for a long period of time. If you hear a sizzling noise, you're too slow. If you stay too long on one point, you will burn the gold and it will get black spots. Electroplated gold will hold onto everything you put it on, so it is usable at the end. Of course, if you scratch it heavily, it will be damaged at some point. But for a spoon used in a normal way, it should be fine. Because we're using 24 karat real gold, we can even use it as a spoon afterwards. You see the gold color getting really nice and thick. That's the result I was hoping for. To plate something like that, it could take up to 1 or 2 minutes. Isn't it shiny? And now you can clearly see the difference between this gold and the flash gold. I move my negative terminal now. Because this part is already gold plated, it should actually increase the connectivity. Be patient with this process. It will take its time, but the more time you take, the nicer your result will be. Always dunk your pad into the gold solution. Don't worry about using too much, because the gold will only get lost when it's attached to the surface. As long as you're dripping back into your container, everything should be fine. The circular motion is important because if you have micro scratches in your surface and you only use the up and down strokes, then you will not get the micro scratches filled. Never press too hard on your pad because then your electrode will scratch your newly plated gold. Gold takes about a minute or two to totally solidify on the surface. So you can do multiple passes to thicken the layer and change the color of the gold. The more layers you have, the darker and more goldish it will be. And of course, the more resistant to scratches it will be. The good thing about plating with this method is that you can plate basically everything even while it is mounted. As long as it's conductive, you can plate it. If it's not conductive, like plastics, I will show you in a minute how you can plate this either way. Okay, I have a little spot here and a little spot there. So if you have spots that gold isn't attaching to, it might be because of some oils or anything left. So you can basically do the cleaning cycle again, wash it, and go back to gold plating. The electrocleaner will not damage the gold you already put on, and you can basically just patch up anything you didn't get in your first one. So I've gone up to 7.7 volts now. The more electricity you put through, the thicker your gold will get. Don't overdo it though, it will get burned. After you're done with electroplating, just try to rub off the gold to see if it's thick everywhere, or if you have some spots like here where you have to clean again and maybe replate. So there you have it, a gold-plated spool. Talking about getting born with a golden spool in your mouth, we just made it ourselves. Clean up your part with distilled water afterwards. There is one thing you need to know about the gold plating process. Any scratches in your surface will be visible in your final plating, because the gold is one continuous layer following exactly every little nook and cranny. So if you want your gold to be a mirror finish, you have to polish your parts. Let me show you here. This part of the spoon is of course the mouthy part.
Mouthy. I like that.
So you scratch it a lot with your teeth, you scratch it while cleaning it up with a sponge or anything. So all these little micro scratches are visible in there. This part in the middle gets touched and used way less, so it has a way better surface. And back here, you see what happens if you don't clean your part perfectly. So I have to clean again and add some more gold to this. The good thing about gold plating with this process is you can patch up everything. It will be invisible afterwards. So with our spoon being finished, let's move on to our next contestant. The ring. This ring is actually made out of sterling silver. Sterling silver is the best material to gold plate on. This ring has a special design. There is a groove all the way around, and I want to try just to plate one side. The way you can do that by just attaching tape to whatever surface you don't want to be gold plated. Next up, the silver ring. Change your electrode back to the graphite one. You want to use your Electrocleaner again to pre-clean the ring. Go back to 5 volts and start cleaning. Give your part a good wash in distilled water. For the next step, it's important to dry your part, so all the distilled water is gone from the surface, because we want the tape to stick. You can either use a microfiber towel, or I like to use toilet paper. Because of course toilet paper is designed to not leave any residue. Because I mean, who likes flint on his butt?
Look, I don't want to wipe you out. And I don't want you wiping me out, you know?
So for the next step, you need some tape, you need your part, and you need the sharp knife. Make sure your tape is really tight on there. I covered the whole surface and will now cut out what I don't need. After you're done taking your tape off, give it another good wash with your Electrocleaner, because your glue will leave residue. Change your electrode back to the platinum one. Check to make sure you have contact. We will start at 5 volts this time. Silver can take a lot more than other metals, and the gold process will work better on sterling silver. And plate away.
Always push your plate away from you.
By the way, don't be concerned if you gold plate your clamp. It will only increase its connectivity. We go up to 7 volts now.
A few moments later.
And there it is. So we messed up the masking tape a little bit here, but the rest is looking awesome. Let's give it a rinse and see the final result. Look at that, isn't that awesome? Oh wait, let me get you a little bit closer. Well, that's too close. So look at that. Isn't that nice? All the way around, partially gold plated. So the ring wasn't polished before we started.
No polish, no pedigree.
So you have all these micro scratches and tears in the surface. But if you have a look on the inside where it's really smooth, you see all the shine going on. Awesome. So I am really happy how this turned out. Nice. So let's move on to our key. The point of making the key is I wanted to test if I can gold plate something that was in heavy use. You have oils out of the lock in here, you have it in your pocket the whole time, you touch it quite a lot. So I wanted to test if the Electrocleaner is able to remove all of that residue and give me a nice gold plating finish. Let's try it. So of course I'm back on my graphite electrode. Let's give it a good wash. I am going to go really in there, really aggressive on this one, because I think there is a lot of stuff to remove. I first give it a wash without electricity on it. So I'm back at 5 volts. I will attach my current to there and give it another good wash. So now give it a rinse with distilled water, change your gloves and give it another rinse. It still has some spots on there. Let me get you closer. Well, it still has some discoloration going on. I used the toothbrush to really get into all the nooks and crannies. So here, for example, you have a little bit of discoloration, but let's see how it works. It's all an experiment to prepare to gold plate plastic. So let me change out the electrode back to my platinum one. Take our gold solution. By the way, the reason why I use a platinum electrode is whenever the current is flowing from your electrode to your part, it will take little bits out of your electrode. Because it is platinum, it will not change the color of the gold and even make it harder afterward. The graphite one is also okay, because it will only blacken your part if you use too much current. You should never use something like a copper electrode or anything like that to gold plate a part. Let's attach our minus pole back here and let's test it. We start at 5 volts. And the gold is coming off really good. A little bit slow because it is stainless steel. So let's up the voltage to around 6.5. It is getting a really nice dark gold color. I love it. I love it. So let's change the position of the clamp and gold plate the last bit. So I upped the voltage again to 7.5 volts because I want to have a really thick layer of gold on there, because of course I'm going to use it so it gets in and out of key locks, like in and out and in and out. That came out pretty well. In and out and in. Just in case if you're wondering, gold plating is absolutely food safe. Look at that result. It's really nice gold. Even the discoloration on the surface, the gold made a really good job of covering it. You have a little bit of it visible, because remember guys, gold will always show what's below. Even the little points I filled, it's looking really nice. So let me show you the other parts again. Here's the spoon up close. Here's the stuff I still have to clean off, but you can't scratch it away. And here's the ring once more. The inside and the outside, really nice looking. So now that we successfully plated our metal test part, let's move on to the source of this video. Gold plating plastic. But just a quick thing, if you have any other ideas of parts I could gold plate, just leave a comment down below and I'm trying to make it happen. Also, if you gold plate something using this tutorial, I would love to see it. Leave something in the description down below. If you're doing a video, I will shout you out for sure. Okay, let's move on. Psst. By the way, I am going to tell you a secret. If you want to follow along to this tutorial on a later occasion, you just have to like the video. Because if you like it, you can find it in your profile under liked videos easier. So now that we are ready with our metal parts, next step, watch my next video where I explain the whole process on plastic parts.